Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. If you remember, in our last video, we talked about exponents, radicals, and their properties. In this session, we are going to solve some examples involving the rules of exponents, radicals, and algebraic identities. So stay with me and let's get started. Number 1. Simplify the following expressions. 2 times the cube root of 108 plus the cube root of 500 minus 9 the cube root of 4 minus the cube root of 32. Before we solve this problem, first I need to introduce you to prime numbers. These numbers have an important property. They are only divisible by 1 and themselves. For example, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, and blah blah blah. Now, how are these numbers useful? We use them to factor numbers. Let me explain with an example. I wanna factor the number 236 using my own method. So first, I'll draw a vertical line, and on the left side, I'll write the number 236. Okay? The first prime number is 2. Is 236 divisible by 2? Yes, it is, because it's an even number. So we write 2 on the right side of the vertical line. Now we divide 236 by 2 is equal 118, and write result on the left side of the vertical line. Now we ask, is 118 divisible by 2? Yes, it is, because it's an even number too. So we write 2 on the right side of the vertical line, and if 118 divided by 2 is equal 59, and we write the result on the left side of the vertical line. Now we ask, is 59 divisible by 2? It's not, because it's an odd number. Now we choose the next prime number, which is 3. We ask ourselves, is this number divisible by 3? The answer is no. And then we choose the next prime number, which is 5. We ask ourselves, is this number divisible by 5? The answer is no. We see that this number is not divisible by any prime number other than 1 and itself. That means 59 itself is a prime number. So we write this number in the right side of the vertical line. 59. So we have 236 is equal, we multiply these numbers together and write it here. 2 times 2 is equal 2 squared times 59. Now let's factor these numbers one by one. Number 1, 108. So first I'll draw a vertical line and then choose the first prime number. Is 108 divisible by 2? It is yes, because it's an even number. So we write 2 on the right side of the vertical line, and then we divide 108 by 2 is equal 54, and write the result on the left side of the vertical line. Is this number divisible by 2? It's yes. So I'll put 2 on the right side of the vertical line. Now we divide 54 by 2 is equal 27 and write the result on the left side of the vertical line. Now, is 27 divisible by 2? No, it's not, because it's an odd number. So, we choose the next prime number, which is 3. We ask ourselves, is this number divisible by 3? It is yes. So, we write here and then we divide 27 by 3 is equal 9. And then we ask ourselves, is this number divisible by 3? The answer is yes. So we write 3. And now we divide 9 by 3 is equal 3. And now we ask ourselves, is this number divisible by 3? Of course, yes. So we write 3 and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we write 1, and now that we've reached the number 1, so the process is complete. So 108 is equal 2 times 2 is equal 2 squared times 3 times 3 times 3 is equal 3 cubed. And then we have 500. Now you turn. Please pause the video and work on it your own. And then play the video and compare your answer with mine. 500. Based on previous numbers, we choose the first prime number, which is 2. Is 500 divisible by 2? Yes. So we write 2 and we divide 500 by 2 is equal 215, and 215 divisible by 2. So we write 2 and we divide 215 by 2 is equal 125. 125 is not divisible by 2. So we move on to the next prime number, which is 3. But 125 is not divisible by 3 either. So we choose the next prime number, which is 5. And we see 125 divisible by 5. So we write 5 and we divide 125 by 5 is equal 25. And we see 25 is divisible by 5. So we write 5 and we divide 25 by 5 is equal 5. And 5 is divisible by 5. So we write 5 and if we divide 5 by 5 is equal 1. And now, because we've hit the number 1, we know the process is finished. So we write 500 is equal 2 times 2 is 2 squared times 5 times 5 times 5 is equal 5 cubed. And the next number is 4. 4 is equal to squared, and 32 is equal to the power of 5. Actually, we turn the numbers into exponents. So we can say 2 the cube root of 108 is equal 2 squared times 3 cubed plus the cube root of 500 is equal 2 squared times 5 cubed minus 9 the cube root of 2 squared minus the cube root of 2 to the power of 5. Okay? Now we are going to talk about how to take exponents out of radicals. When you have a radicals expression like the nth root of a to the power of m, and m is greater than or equal to n, you can actually pull part of it out of the radical. It means m is greater than or equal n. Here's the rule step by step. Number 1. Divide the exponent m by the root n. M divided by n. Okay. The quotient become the exponent of the base outside the radical, and the remainder stay inside the radical. It means the nth root of n a to the power of m is equal a to the power of n over n is equal a to the power of k times the nth root a to the power of r. K is the quotient of m over n, and r is remainder. Okay? For example, the square root of 2 to the power of 5. Step 1. 5 divided by 2 is quotient is 2 and remainder is 1. So the square root of 2 to the power of 5 is equal 2 squared times the square root of 2 to the power of 1. So we have 2 squared is 4 times 2. And let's try another one with the cube root. The cube root of 5 to the power of 7. Okay, divide 5 by 3. The quotient is 2 and the remainder is 1. So the cube root of 5 to the power of 7 is equal 5 squared, the cube root of 5. So 5 squared is 25, the cube root of 5. Okay? Now 3 cubed and 5 cubed come out inside the radicals. So we have is equal to 2 times 3 times the cube root of 2 squared. 2 squared cannot come out from inside the radical because its exponent is less than the root of the radical. So instead of writing 2 squared, I'll write 4 plus 5 times the cube root of 2 squared is 4 minus 9 times the cube root of 4 minus 2 to the power of 5 is equal 2 squared times 2 cubed. Okay? So the cube root of 2 to the power of 5 is equal the cube root of 2 squared times 2 cubed. So 2 cubed come out from inside the radical. So we have minus 2 times the cube root of 2 squared is 4. Now we factor out the cube root of 4 and we have 6 plus 5 minus 9 minus 2. Here is equal 0. and the cube root of 4 times 0 is 0.